These are the 4 best performing gaming smartphones on the planet, but you can't game or even do day-to-day tasks if your phone runs out of juice too quickly. This is my real-life usage 100 to 0% battery drain test of the Asus ROG Phone 5, Lenovo Legion Phone 2 Pro, RedMagic 6 and Black Shark 4 Pro. Largest battery size all the way on the left being the ROG 5, the smallest size all the way on the right-hand side being the Black Shark 4 Pro, with the 2 in between being slap bang in the middle in terms of battery capacity. I have used a Lux luminous meter here to make sure that all of their brightnesses are set at the same level. They have also all been updated to their latest available software update, that being Android 11 across all 4 devices over here. All phones are running a high refresh rate panel, that being 144 Hz on the ROG phone, Legion phone and Black Shark device, and the highest being on the RedMagic phone at 165 Hz. All of them have a native resolution of Full HD Plus over here, with the largest screen being on the Legion Phone 2 Pro. We'll be running through regular day-to-day apps, music streaming apps, social media apps, video apps, camera benchmarks to simulate high performance gaming, as well as gaming of course too. I'm extremely excited to get this video underway and share the results with you today. This is TechNick, and without further ado, let's go. Before we get going, it's worth mentioning that the RedMagic 6 says it's fully charged, but it's sitting at 99%. I think it's a glitch in the software because I tried to charge it for hours and hours, but it couldn't reach 100%. The rest of them are sitting at 100%, so that's good to know before we get going with the test. We'll be using an infrared heat gun over here to measure heat dissipation between each interval, which caps out or clocks in at every 30 minutes. And the room temperature today is around 23 degrees in Celsius. They're currently plugged in charge, so you can't really take this for reference in terms of regular day-to-day usage. But just for interest's sake, the hottest one when plugged in charge is the Legion, and the coolest is the ROG Phone 5. Starting up the test over here, we have the interval timer at the top right hand corner, which is in relation to the percentage above each phone and below the branding of that device. It is clocked at every interval. This is not real-time percentage and time interval, I guess you could say. Whenever the time interval strikes, the percentages drop naturally. If you are a bit rusty on specs, we have the specs at the bottom of the screen and the current app at the bottom right hand corner. After the first 30-minute time interval, we have 98% on the ROG Phone 5, 99% on the Legion Phone 2 Pro beating the ROG Phone 5, 95% on the RedMagic 6 trailing the pack over here, and leading the pack is the Black Shark 4 Pro with the smallest 4500 mAh battery, but still sitting at 100% after just 30 minutes. We're slowly nearing that 1 hour mark interval after playing some music on Spotify, and getting to that, we have a 94% read on the ROG Phone 5, 93% now trailing the ROG Phone 5 is the Legion, 91% which is trailing the Legion phone is the RedMagic, and still leading the pack here is the Black Shark 4 Pro. Very incredible considering it has the smallest battery here. We're now currently in Shazam. We are auto tuning to find music in the room, which I'm currently playing, and we are also using screen recording at the same time, so it should pull quite a bit of draw so you guys can get a bit of a feel for Shazamming around as well as screen recording at the same time. After an hour and 30 minutes, we have 88% on the ROG Phone 5, 82% on the Legion, 86% on the RedMagic. The Legion now below the RedMagic, very strange, 90% on the Black Shark 4 Pro, still leading the pack, but it is narrowing the gap between it and the ROG Phone 5. Currently viewing videos on Facebook here using Facebook Live TV. Nearing that next time interval, the coolest devices here are the RedMagic and Black Shark, the hottest being the Legion, which is really strange because it has dual fans. I'll get to that in a second. 84% on the ROG Phone 5 after 2 hours, 77% on the Legion, 81% on the RedMagic, 84% on the Black Shark 4 Pro, which is now matching the ROG Phone 5, even though it has a much smaller battery than the ROG Phone 5. It was doing better than it before this, well, early on in the test, and now it's starting to trail behind. Well, we'll have to see after that 2 hour and 30-minute mark interval, with the Legion still being the hottest and the coolest still being the 2 devices on the right hand side. After 2.5 hours, we have 81% on the ROG Phone 5, now beating the Black Shark 4 Pro by 2% thanks to that mammoth of a battery, 72% on the Legion Phone 2 Pro, and 76% on the RedMagic 6, which is pulling quite a bit ahead of the Legion Phone 2 Pro, even though the RedMagic 6 has a 450 mAh battery capacity less than the Lenovo Legion Phone 2 Pro. Like I was mentioning with the fans earlier on, the Legion Phone 2 Pro does have 2 individual fans separate on either side of the phone when in portrait, one on the left, one on the right. One of them is an exhaust fan and one of them is of course an intake fan as well. But the strange thing with the Lenovo Legion Phone 2 Pro or in other regions, the Lenovo Dual 2, it can only use the fans when powering a game through its gaming software application called Lenovo Realm, or Legion Realm that is. So it's kind of a bummer, whereas the RedMagic 6 only has a single fan. It has a faster revolutions per minute count at 20,000 as opposed to the 15,000 and 12,500 on the Legion Phone 2 Pro, both fans give or take over there. But the RedMagic 6 can use its active cooling fan all the time. You can just enable it. I have enabled it over here, so you would expect it to use slightly more juice, but it is beating the Lenovo Legion Phone 2 Pro. So far so good, by 4% lead, and reaching that 4-hour mark interval. We have 72% on the ROG Phone 5, leading the pack by quite a bit, 10% ahead of the RedMagic 6, but it does have pretty much 1,000 milliamps larger battery compared to the RedMagic 6. Trailing the pack here is the Legion Phone 2 Pro with 57% and 65% on the Black Shark 4 Pro, which is beating the RedMagic 6 even though it has a smaller battery. Currently using the selfie cam, you can see the pop-up one on the Lenovo looking nice and snazzy over there. 1080p at 30 FPS. Some of them can do 1080p at 60 FPS, but we're keeping them at 30 FPS so that we can compare it to other phones on my channel that have undertaken the exact same battery drain test. You've got to remember that you cannot compare these phones to other channels' battery drain tests since we use different brightnesses and different apps, so on and so forth, but you can compare them within my channel. That is why I keep all the applications the same, all the games the same for the past 2 years that you've come to know and love my battery drain tests, full of details. So please make sure you hit that subscribe button if you have yet to do so and are thoroughly enjoying this battery drain test of these 4 gaming beasts. We've reached that 5-hour mark interval, 60 degrees on the Lenovo Legion Phone 2 Pro. Even though it has active fans powering it, it cannot be used unless using a game within its gaming software. Like I mentioned before, we're running through some benchmarks over here, but just to let you guys know, I only do benchmarks not just to drain the phones quickly, but to simulate high performing games. And that is what high performing games do. They drain out of your battery all the time. So after that, we have 18% on the Lenovo, 43% on the ROG Phone 5, but the ROG Phone 5 has hit the highest I've ever seen on my channel in terms of temperature, 70.7 degrees in Celsius, with the coolest still being pretty hot is the Black Shark 4 Pro with 63.8 degrees in Celsius. Not far behind that is the Legion Phone 2 Pro and RedMagic 6. After 6 hours, the Black Shark 4 Pro says, I cannot handle any more benchmarks. 6 hours is my cap. It's actually not too bad considering the Xiaomi Mi 11, the vanilla Mi 11, that is with a 4,600 milliamp hour battery, 100 more milliamps compared to the Black Shark 4 Pro, did it in 5 hours and 58 minutes. So give or take pretty similar over there. I guess it has to do more with software than hardware this time around. And after 6 hours and 11 minutes, a phone with 1,000 more milliamps compared to the Black Shark 4 Pro clocks out, and that is the Lenovo Legion Phone 2 Pro. After that previous 6-hour mark interval, we had the ROG Phone 5 sitting at 34% and 9% on the RedMagic 6. How much longer can the RedMagic last, and how much longer can the ROG 5 keep going after all phones have died? 6 hours and 30 minutes over here. Well, 6 hours and 35 minutes. I was a bit late to get to the phones. 28% on the ROG Phone 5, 5% on the RedMagic 6 over here. Very impressive stuff from both devices, still going close to that 7-hour mark interval. Can the RedMagic make it playing Subway Surfers? No, it cannot. 6 hours and 47 minutes is still fantastic for a phone with a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, but there are regular phones that are not gaming phones that have a 5,000 milliamp hour battery that can indeed reach 8 hours, such as the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra, but it does cost a hell of a lot more money than the RedMagic 6 over here. After 7 hours, the ROG Phone 5 is still going with 23%, sitting nice and happy over there. It got a bit sweaty earlier, but it's not sweating too much now with 42.9 degrees in Celsius. The coolest end so far is indeed the RedMagic 6 end temp, that is with 36.8 degrees in Celsius. And if we take a look at the milliamp hour per minute reading, the RedMagic 6 was the best with 12.408 milliamp hours per minute, as opposed to the Legion with 14.825, which was actually worse than the Black Shark. Even though it finished later, it has a much bigger battery than the Black Shark 4 Pro, but its milliamp hour per minute reading was higher because it has a bigger battery. Whereas if the Black Shark 4 Pro had the same size cell as the Legion Phone 2 Pro, it would have finished further than the Legion did. 8-hour mark interval over here, the ROG Phone 5 still powering through like an absolute champ. I've made sure to not enable any gaming modes on all 4 devices over here throughout this test, so no X mode for the ROG Phone 5 and other respective gaming modes on the other devices over here. So 8 hours and 30 minutes is coming up. Can the ROG Phone 5 make it to 9 hours? Remember, we are using the max refresh rate panels on all of the devices over here, that being 144 Hz on 3 of them and 165 Hz on the RedMagic 6, which is another factor on why it ended before the 7-hour mark interval, but still pretty great battery life. 8.5 hours, 4% left on the ROG Phone 5, sitting at around 45.3 degrees in Celsius. Can it reach that 9-hour mark interval? We're currently in VLC 4K video looping over here, and no, it cannot. It caps out at 8 hours and 52 minutes, so darn close to that 9-hour mark interval, but very impressive at its max refresh rate of 144 over here, and ending off with the same 36.8 degrees Celsius as the RedMagic 6, with the best milliamp hour per minute reading of the lot. Fourth place over here, we have the Black Shark 4 Pro, ending off in just 6 hours on the nose. Pretty impressive considering it has the smallest battery of the lot over here, and it did have to go through a lot and kept the coolest most of the time. The Legion Phone 2 Pro came in third place with 6 hours and 11 minutes, a much larger battery, pretty much 1,000 more than the Black Shark, and only 11 minutes longer lasting. Second place, we have the RedMagic 6. I am pretty impressed with it since it has done better than its predecessors. 6 hours and 47 minutes, 5,050 milliamp hour battery, not too shabby on you, RedMagic. And first place, the Crown King still of all gaming phones, the Asus ROG Phone 5, 8 hours and 52 minutes, rocking its max refresh rate, which is indeed 144. Impressive to say the least. Now, comparing all four of these gaming devices to their predecessors, the ROG Phone 5 has improved by 15 minutes with the same sized cell. The RedMagic 6 has improved, but it did get a bump of an extra 550 milliamps in terms of battery capacity. The Legion Phone 2 Pro dropped by 24 minutes compared to last year's model, even though it has a 500 milliamp hour larger battery cell. And of course, the Black Shark 4 Pro did get a battery drop compared to its predecessor, the Black Shark 3 Pro, with a massive 5,000 milliamp hour battery, and it lost 79 minutes. That is an hour and 19 minutes of battery less compared to last year's model. Even though last year had a lesser refresh rate being at 90, it does have a QHD panel, and I did test it using that. When it comes to degrees in Celsius, the Legion Phone Pro was pretty hot during the majority of the test, but the highest peak was indeed the ROG Phone 5, reaching the all-time highest of my channel at 70.7 degrees in Celsius. Now, in terms of milliamp hour per minute reading, the ROG Phone 5 did get 11.2 milliamp hour per minute battery drain, and comparing it to the RedMagic 6 and Black Shark 4 Pro, which were just over 12 because they have a much smaller battery than the ROG Phone 5, the closest battery in terms of the ROG is the Lenovo, and the Lenovo almost hit 15 milliamp hours per minute. Now, if you convert that into the exact same capacity as the massive 6,000 milliamp hour battery within the ROG Phone 5, the ROG Phone 5 would still place first with 8 hours and 52 minutes. Second would be the RedMagic 6 still with 8 hours and 4 minutes if it had that same 6,000 milliamp hour capacity within it. And the Black Shark 4 Pro would now switch with the Lenovo and place in third because of its great milliamp hour per minute reading compared to the Lenovo Legion Phone 2 Pro, and it would hit 8 hours, where the Lenovo would just be shy of 7 hours. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video as much as I did making it. This is TechNick, and I'll catch you in the next one.